This is the Mig-15bis, or, well, I guess technically it's the Chinese J-2, but for all intensive purposes, it's the Mig-15bis, so that's what I'm going to call it today. This is another one of those planes like the F2 Sabre that's sort of a fallen king of top tier, back when top tier was 9.0. But even today in this weird hell of a matchmaker, and despite its tough learning curve, I think it's still a pretty solid fighter, and today I'm going to tell you why. So the Mig-15bis, this thing's got a bit of a learning curve, and that's due to a couple of things. This thing has a really slow roll rate. Now in most circumstances, this really isn't that big of an issue, but say you got somebody behind you and firing on you, it's going to be a lot harder to dodge out of the way, and it sort of makes this thing not that great of a defensive fighter. It also makes it a little bit difficult to aim your gun sometimes, as if they weren't hard enough to aim already. If you notice in the footage I've shown already, a lot of times I wait to fire until I am almost touching them because it's almost a guaranteed kill if you hit that 37. And this way you don't really have to aim that much. You kind of just get real close, lead just a tad, and that 37 will do the rest of the work for you. And speaking about the cannons in this plane, that's the other thing I wanted to bring up that makes this thing a little bit weird. Now I personally don't really have an issue with these guns, but I know a lot of people do because of the way they're kind of set up on the plane and the fact that they have pretty low velocity. I see a lot of people talk about that they kind of have trouble aiming these guns and they feel like they should be hitting when they're not, but that just takes practice and that's really all you can do about that. So that's the two things that people mainly have trouble with this plane. Now what does this thing do well? Well, it's a complete monster when it comes to energy, especially if you get down tier, you can kind of just run matches. This is one of the best rate fighters in the game because it doesn't really lose much energy at all in a horizontal rate fight. Running energy traps on people is really easy, especially when the teams you're facing in down tiers are mainly full of A4s and F9Fs. But that's the situation when it comes to down tiers. What about a full up tier 9.7? For the most part it's manageable, but you do run into things like Mig-19s, and good luck fighting a Mig-19 in a Mig-15. You'll see planes like AV-8s that have AIM-9Gs, which is annoying to deal with. You'll also be seeing Mig-21s, which, you can out-energy a Mig-21 really easily, but if they use their brain, you're never going to be able to catch a Mig-21. Alright, so now I'm going to show you what this plane does best, an energy trap. So in this specific example, we've got an A4E coming heads up with me, and I'm just going to roll out of the way of those guns. Now the A4E is a Dorito plane, so as soon as it even thinks about turning, it's going to be going essentially 0 kilometers an hour. So running an energy trap on an A4E is extremely easy, and it's probably the most satisfying just because of how straightforward it is. So at this point, I'm way above him, he's way below me, and since that thing, like I said, is a Dorito plane, I'm probably still faster than him even though I pitched straight up. So already this is pretty much a guaranteed win for me. So now he's basically at a standstill, so I'm going to pop my landing flaps, cut my throttle, and pop my air brake to cut into his turn as quickly as possible. He's taking it downwards, I guess to hopefully get a little more speed to try and maneuver out of the way, but it's not going to be enough. So throttle cut, air brake out, and one shot, he's dead. Now why did I choose this example specifically of an energy trap? Well, that's because this is going to be the easiest one to understand. These are two very different aircraft with very different levels of performance. This example shows how good the energy retention is of the Mig-15 and how poor the energy retention is of the A4. And also, of course, it's like a textbook example of an energy trap. So is the Mig-15bis as powerful as it was in its heyday back in the 9.0 top tier? Well, not really, but is it still really good? Yeah, very much so. It's just not quite what it used to be just because of the matchmaker. But is it still worth using this plane in 2022 in the current matchmaker? Yes, absolutely. It's honestly one of the most fun jets in the game. Which is by far the most important thing in this game for me right now, is actually being able to sit down and enjoy it, which when I was playing this thing, I absolutely was. Wow, I've run out of things to say, and I think I'm only 4 minutes into this video? I guess I got everything I needed to get across, so I think that's gonna wrap it up. What do you guys think about the Mig-15bis? Do you think it's still fun and viable in 2022? Let me know your thoughts on this thing. And if you enjoyed this video, press all the good algorithm buttons that help me out, that'd be pretty cool. I've also got a Discord open now, I'll have the link in the description for that as well. And on that, I'll see you guys next time. Peace.